Hello, everybody, and welcome into a Tuesday edition of the Computer America Show. It's Gamer Tuesday.
1 minute until showtime.
With our gamer correspondent, Grayson Hamilton. He is here in the wings with us. We're going to be talking about everything from Destiny to Microsoft's purchase of Mojang, the Blizzard canceling Project Titan, more WoW stuff, all the great stuff we're talking about on tonight's show, to borrow that phrase from Ben, all that great stuff. And so sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. We'll be starting in less than a minute.
Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Broadcasting live, it's America's longest-running national radio talk show on computers, Computer America, hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. Look for Craig's weekly column in your favorite newspaper. This show is being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. Keep it here for technology news, computer products, guest interviews, and your phone calls. You're listening to Computer America.
Hello, and welcome into the Computer America Show. It's the nation's longest-running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. Computer America is heard around the world and coast to coast. And I'm your host, Craig Crossman.
And I'm your co-host, Ben.
And it is Tuesday. It's the second Tuesday of the month.
It's Tuesday!
Thursday. No, it's our Gamer Tuesday show. That's right. It's all about computer games, having fun with your computer. And that can...
The most important part.
Yes, exactly.
Your boss will try to brainwash you like Craig does to me. That no, work productivity is important with the computer. No. It's about the video games.
It's about the video. It's all about the video games, and that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. And we're just going to have a lot of doing that. And we might talk a little bit about some other stuff, but primarily we're focused on games tonight. And helping us here to do that is our Computer America Gamer correspondent, Grayson Hamilton. Before I bring him on, let's just get the stuff out of the way here, the important things. If you want to speak with us, if you have a comment, question, anything having to do with games tonight, give us a call. We'd love to hear from you. The number is 347. That's the area code, 347-884-8881. That's 347-884-8881. I'll get you on and get you through. We also have a special email inbox set up when we're live and on the air. It is live, L-I-V-E, at ComputerAmerica.com. You can also join us in our live interactive IRC chat room. From our homepage at ComputerAmerica.com, you'll see right sort of in the middle of the page there, it'll say interact with the show, and there are a number of buttons there. The first one is chat and live video. If you click that, you'll see that there are two services on that page, which is the chat room and live video. The chat room is on the left. It's the live IRC chat room. There's a place for you to put in a nickname. That's the name you'll be known by when you go into the chat room. Okay, there's a CAPTCHA authentication place. It's usually a number or a couple of words. You have to type it in, and that certifies that you are a live human being and not a robot trying to go in there. So we just want to make sure that we have live people in there. And then click the connect button, and your browser will move you into the Computer America chat room. It's simple. It's right on that same page. Now, if you want to format the chat room in a more eye-pleasing manner, in its own little separate window, apart from the browser, we also include the IRC clients, a number of them. We have things like Chatzilla and HexChat. Depending upon the browser you're using and the platform that you're using, you should be able to find one that works. It's on the bottom of our free software page. That's where we put them. But just click that button. It'll take you to the free software page. And at the bottom you'll see them. Download the one that's appropriate. They're plugins. And when you do that, you'll, as I say, see the chat room in a more eye-pleasing manner in its own separate window. our chat room more frequently, you definitely want to do that. But if you're just going to be there once or twice, I mean, it's up to you. Whatever you want makes you happy. We just want to give you the availability and give you the options to do what you want to do with our chat room. And then also sharing that same page is our live Computer America video streaming page. That's right. Not only can you hear the Computer America show, you can also watch us live. We stream the video live right there on our web page. All you have to do is click that little arrow, and then you can follow along, and it just makes things to be a lot of fun. So these are all the ways you can interact with us. Now, also, we do one other thing. If you go back to our homepage, and by the way, you can go back to our homepage anytime just by clicking on the Computer America logo in the upper left-hand corner.
I think at this point it's safe to say, but wait, there's more.
Yes, but wait, there's more. If you go back to that homepage, you'll see we mentioned that interact with the show. There's a chat and live video. We also have something called the show notes. If you click on that, it'll open up another page, and you'll be able to see tonight's show, which is the October the 14th. You'll see Grayson Hamilton is there. His name is a link. It'll take you to his website if you want to. But you'll see tonight's topics listed there, so you can follow along with what we're going to be talking about. It's all there for your reading edification. We also include links to some of the stories that we'll be talking about later on in the show. So that's all there for your reading pleasure at computeramerica.com. Of course, we also have our Facebook page. If you want to follow along what's going on Computer America, you can go to the Facebook page, and you'll see a listing. Ben handles that, and he puts some interesting stories aside from what we do here on the show, which I really like. It's even more content that's sort of relevant to what we're talking about.
It's not just yes, you get who's going to be on the show tonight, and and links to their pages and stuff like that, but also, I mean, I think if we put that extra little story there at the end, you won't be upset when you see it in your feed. You'll say, "Oh, wonder what Computer America has for us to look at today." And I try to find something really interesting. Admittedly, I try to lean more towards science and space, and because those tend to be a little bit more interesting at face value. Mm-hmm. So I try to add that little bit extra just so people aren't upset at us for clogging up their Facebook.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, and Ben puts those stories there for your reading pleasure. Of course. I think you're getting the point by now. Everything having to do with the Computer America show really is at our website. So if you go to our Twitter feed is there. Archives of our show is up there. We have a Blog Talk Radio panel right there, so you can listen to not only the current show but past shows. We have links to all the different networks that carry the program. Everything you need to know is right at the Computer America website at computeramerica.com. And again, Aaron, Ben's brother, was largely responsible for doing the second generation refresh of our website. Did a terrific job.
It was a collaborative effort. Thank you very much.
And Ben also helped as well. Yes. And then I had
no. Aaron helped me.
Aaron helped you. Okay.
There we go.
I thought Aaron was our webmaster or webmeister.
Yeah, no, he got that title after the fact, but doesn't mean he did most of the work.
Okay, all right. It's there. And I put my 2 cents in also. Everybody kind of makes suggestions,
No. Okay, whatever. Okay.
Okay.
Hey, Grayson, are you ready to come in yet?
No, I think he is. Okay, all right. So let me introduce our guest for tonight. And he's no stranger to the Computer America show. Joining tonight is Grayson Hamilton. Gray is our Computer America gamer correspondent. Gray recently completed and received his master's degree of journalism from the University of Texas at Austin. Very impressive. He's actively pursuing a career in video game journalism. Gray currently is an editor-at-large for Pop Zara magazine. He's an experienced game enthusiast and author who gives us his viewpoints when it comes to computers and set-top games. Gray, welcome into Computer America. How the heck are you?
I'm doing excellent. I actually just made a sandwich in the time it took you guys to intro me. Very tasty sandwich, too.
Is it tuna or ham sandwich?
Ooh, chicken BLT.
Oh, that sounds delicious. Okay.
Always a pleasure. Other than that, I'm doing great. Craig, Ben, how you guys doing?
Yeah, we're doing great. I got to say, how are things working out with you for Pop Zara? Nathan keeps saying wonderful things about you, and how are you liking that?
I'm loving it. It's been a fantastic experience. I've already gotten to interview some great candidates in the tech world, as well as review some great games. And we finally made it official and secured my travel to the Consumer Electronics Show in Vegas in January. So I will be covering that whole conference that entire weekend for PopZara, and hopefully might even be able to do a spot with you guys as well.
That's right, because every year Computer America is at the Showstoppers event out at the Consumer Electronics Show in Vegas. We actually are up on stage. We have a backdrop. We have table, chairs. We have the broadcasting equipment. Last year we had Charles Tendell doing it, and I think he's going to be out there again this year. We have Sandy Berger, David Perry. We have a whole crew of our correspondents and staff people who report on what's going on out there. So it should be a lot of fun. Obviously, you're certainly welcome to join us in the broadcast when we do that live from the CES out of Las Vegas. That's going to be your first time out there too, I understand, Gray. So
it is. I'm super nervous, but I'm also super excited.
Yeah, it's a treat. You're going to really enjoy it. Okay.
The trick is, and I'm sure everyone has told you this who's gone and you asked their opinion. The biggest thing is, if you're going out there, wear comfortable shoes.
Oh yeah.
You don't want to go out there in dress shoes.
I can imagine there's going to be a lot of walking involved.
Yeah, I think people whose first time out there, they really want to impress. That they get the nice shirt, the nice pants, and then they get the nice shoes, and then they're walking around for 12, 14 hours a day in brand new dress shoes, and it just doesn't work.
I have one word for you. Segway.
Oh, God. Actually, that might be one of the few times that it's actually acceptable to be seen on a Segway. Would be at an electronics show. So I might look into like a rental service or something.
I think they rent them. I do really think they rent them out there. I mean, their services.
You have to. You would have to.
Yeah.
I don't think you get made fun of for riding one.
Yeah.
But I think you'd still be the ugly duckling there riding one.
Oh, well, of course. But I'd be the comfiest looking person in the at the show.
A lot of people use them. I mean, I've seen them everywhere. I mean, when I was at a hospital, when your mom was at the hospital, there are doctors going on Segways, going up. I guess they do a lot of walking, and I guess a Segway just makes a lot of sense for medical personnel.
You think doctors would know the value of cardio? That's weird.
Yeah, well, I guess they're getting too much cardio. So, anyhow, it's certainly an option. You might want to look into it. So we're going to be talking about all kinds of things having to do with games tonight, and why don't we just get the ball rolling with the story that Ben and I had reported on a couple times in the past couple of weeks when it hit, but we're going to get more details about it, and we're going to kind of dig deeper into the story, and that's Microsoft's purchase of Mojang for $2.5 billion with a B, dollars. And these are the people, of course, who make Minecraft. I understand that the creator and founder booked out. He took his $2.5 billion and went to Tahiti or something. I don't blame him. So what's going on?
I think he only got 1.3. I think he only got 1.3 billion.
Oh,
1.75.
Okay. Well, I still think that's enough for him to to whatever he wants.
Yeah, at that point, Craig, we're nitpicking, really. After the billion, you're just kind of
right. There's no need to even measure at that point. It's just so anyway. So yeah. So what's going on from your perspective? Kind of.
Well, the first thing was I was surprised to hear this announcement. Because I honestly didn't think the founder, Marcus Persson, would actually be willing to for the acquisition, especially for someone like Microsoft. He is, and Mojang itself. They began as an independent studio, and they've been always huge proponents of the indie market. They love the idea of open source, freeware, making things public, making them accessible. For people to tweak, to improve, to customize on their own aspect. That's kind of how the PC market has been, for the longest time. That's where Gabe Newell, founder of Valve and Steam, that's how he feels the same way. So it was interesting to hear this aspect saying Microsoft was purchasing them. The other part, of course, is the amount. $2.5 billion. And for anyone out there who still doesn't understand that how big this industry has become, is to think about this for a second. A majority of what Microsoft does, a majority of what they make money from, is the PC market, of which they make somewhere usually between $6 to $9 billion on Windows products alone.
Mm-hmm.
As a result, now this isn't even Windows, related. This is a studio that makes a game in which you build things with blocks. On paper, incredibly simple, and yet it's had a profound impact both socially and in the gaming world. It's kind of been it's a new trend. It's kind of its own genre now, this aspect. But Microsoft was willing to throw down the amount of $2.5 billion. And as a matter of fact, and what makes that such a huge investment, because this is an investment, is they have a strategy that they expect to make this money back by April of 2016. Wow. So if they throw this money down right now, it will still take them about 18 months to make that kind of money back. So this is a significant amount that they are willing to put in to acquire Mojang Studios. Now Marcus's opinion on this, or at least his response to this, was that he's very humbled with the studio. He's very happy to see that they will have a loving home. It's a great PR letter. You can kind of read through it and see between the lines that he's saying what he has to say. But the other part of it, and the honest portion of it, is when he talks about kind of his reason for leaving. Him and a co-founder are leaving the studio, and it's mainly because when they first set out to do this, when Mojang was founded and they were working on Minecraft, they were in the business of making games. That's all they wanted to do, was make games. The last time he's made a game has been years. He hasn't actually been able to work on anything because he's been running a business now. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of where the transition has turned a little bit. And this is a reoccurring pattern for a lot of people who get in and actually, make a great quality product. It gets big, and the higher ups come up. It becomes less and less about the game, more and more about the industry and the business. And of course, that is how capitalism works on a bare bones level.
I mean, how old is Marcus Persson? I mean, how old a guy is he?
Oh, he's in his late 30s.
Okay, so when he started creating Minecraft, the company, about how many years has it been around? So how old is it?
I want to say it's only been about 5.5, 6 years. Okay.
So he was about 25, 26 years old, maybe, or 27 when
he was in his early 30s.
He was in his early. Okay, and when he created he's an actual coder. He's a programmer.
Well, he was at the time.
Yeah.
He's done work in both hardware and software engineering. Much like a lot of gamers, have to have those kinds of experience and background in if you're going to start your own studio. You can't be looking at other people to do those kinds of work. You have to be able to do it yourself.
Okay, so he never envisioned the path that Minecraft was going to create. I mean, this is, when you look at it, looks like a relatively simplistic game. I mean, the
Legos in graphic form.
Right. It's very blocky. I mean, it's no high quality graphics in the sense that it looks very intentionally. It looks very blocky. That you're working with like Lego pieces, and that's and then you can basically, it's like a giant cyber erector set. You can just kind of create things using the game.
Well, yes, and the thing, I think what surprised him the most, what he is most humbled and honored by, was the fact that, naturally, when you start out, you want to make a good game. You want to make a good game that people are going to enjoy playing. That's always, the goal as we start out. But did he ever envision one of his games not just becoming one of the most widely distributed and widely played video games on the planet today, but also becoming one of just the biggest cultural phenomenons of recent years when it comes to video games? Now,
as one myself who has not played Minecraft before, I'm gonna ask you from that perspective, because I see all these really super incredible graphics and cinematic theater kind of openings, and they're trying to make it as realistic as humanly, the creatures or the people that are in it as human as possible. and then you see this thing with these little blocky characters and everything. What is the attraction? I mean, what makes this game stand out from every other game that's out there? What's so unique about it?
Well, I mean, for one, it's complete individual functionality. You know, it's most of games today, a vast majority, has always been it's a linear A to B. You get the instructions, you have to try a tutorial. You know, it's hand-holding. With Minecraft, it's not even remotely in that same area. It's what it is the beauty of Minecraft is in its simplicity, and it goes hand in hand with the simple graphics. Is because the premise behind it is simple. It's you are put into this virtual world, and you can simply do what you want. It's one of those create your own adventure stories, because if you get to make those choices of I can build a fortress, I could go exploring. You know, there's someone who I remember reading on Kotaku that someone using Minecraft has walked in one direction for the past 4 years. Just walked in one direction, trying to reach the end of the world. And as of right now, I think his digital mileage is somewhere in the 14,000 mile range, and he's only gone about 13% of the way.
Now you see, I asked Ben to give me some examples. So you're talking about modding. When you look at our Facebook page at ComputerAmerica.com, Aaron took Minecraft and made it out to be, and it looks really blocky and kind of crude. And then Ben sent me this photorealistic page here, which is LB Photorealism, and he says this is Minecraft. It looks so atypical to what I've seen Minecraft to look. This looks like living trees, and there's some. I mean,
yeah, I sent Craig a player who had put in a texture pack where, you know, by default the Minecraft textures, they're very crude, very blocky, very cartoonish. But, you know, I think modding or modifying the game files to fit whatever you're doing, I think that's one of the biggest, most crucial things that made Minecraft, you know, played so often, played so much.
Absolutely.
Is that it's not only that you have this big sandbox and you can do whatever you want. You know, you could walk in one direction for 4 years. That's completely up to you. But you can also go in and change the game files and add in new content, add in new images, add in new sounds, add in new features, add in new anything you wanted. It's not just you can do anything in the game, you can do anything with the game. Well, and I actually sent Craig a texture pack of someone who made it. You know, Craig was talking about how nowadays games are, you know, super photorealistic. They're, you know, high graphics, high fidelity, and you can do that with Minecraft if you know how to do it. You can do anything you want.
Well, I guess what I'm saying is that where is the game? I mean, it looks to me like this is just like what you do with SimCity. I mean, you make areas and you create areas, but is there actually a game somewhere in this creation of all this? Do you play something, or do you make the rules up in Minecraft, or is it just you're building stuff? And that's
that's the beauty of it. The game is, and it is, as you want. It's the game, the part of it that makes it the game is you get to decide what kind of game you want this to be. Okay. Is there an end? Technically, yes. They built in an end, like an end boss that you can go fight if you want, so that you have this idea of, I just beat the final boss of the game, so I win Minecraft. Other people are not even in that same realm. Some people, like who play Civilization and Sims, enjoy the aspect of building a community, or just, you know, simulating life through virtual means, and Minecraft has the ability to do that. Other people just like to build things, and they like to take it to the nth degree. I'm looking at a picture right now. Someone took 2 years to create the city Midgar, which is the famous city in Final Fantasy VII, way back in the PS1 days. Mm-hmm. He took this entire city and rebuilt it in Minecraft, block by block. And I mean, it's insane. The level of detail is absolutely insane. This guy did it. I mean, and there's no. Does he get a trophy for it? No. Is it an achievement? No. It's not.
Nope.
That's not the point, though. It was the point was he has the ability. He has the freedom to do this.
It's not points. You're not winning. There's no goal. The only thing is basically it's a giant sandbox. You get to make whatever it is you want using these tools to create whatever you want. Maybe you can make it into a game, but that's not the point, right?
Yeah, and it's it even surprises me, and I know a lot about video games. It surprises me what people can actually do in this game, because you think blocks are very rudimentary. People have made, not only populated servers with hundreds of people playing on at the same time, they've also made computers and graphing calculators and, other pieces of technology within the game Minecraft, and they're fully functional and working. They make computers inside Minecraft using little blocks and other things. It's crazy.
And that brings up the other cool part that I at least wanted to bring up, especially with Minecraft, is the hugely significant educational aspect. See, this is what took Minecraft from just a video game to a cultural phenomenon. Is the potential to use Minecraft as a teaching tool has been astronomical in recent years, and some people have been doing some really, really great things in it. I do remember reading about a nonprofit that was using Minecraft, was rebuilding, virtually simulating small African villages in Nigeria, and the point was that they could then use this, give it to the children of the town, and these children could then modify their town and give builders ideas of what they wanted to do to their town. So this was a really cool way that these people, the citizens and the children of the town, could use a video game to show these people who wanted to help improve the town structure and get these ideas from these kids saying, well, here's one of the things that we don't like this building's too small, or maybe we should place, a new irrigation system here. They could show them how this would impact, and they could see an immediate response and how this would improve the town. I mean, that is a quality of a game that you not only can you quantify, but you can't really put a price on that. That's fantastic. The ability to use this as a teaching tool for everyone is limitless in a manner of speaking.
It says to me there's some redundancy or when you compare Minecraft to, let's say, Sims, because you can or SimCity, you can build a city, you can create and design things with components, right? Or is it that the Minecraft is just even more fundamental? You get a basic building block.
I would say Minecraft is far more fundamental. Like Civilization and Sims that pulls I would say the scale back to, you're not working with the ingredients. It's more of a macro simulation where it's you don't build the factory, you just click the icon and the factory appears, and then you see its effect. I mean, with Minecraft, it's getting into the nitty gritty. It's physically building the axe that you will then use to start mining materials. Right. It's down to a very rudimentary, very bare bones aspect of it. But even at that level, it's still having a lasting effect on the gaming, on not just the industry, but the community. I mean, the more we've explored Minecraft, the more we've been able to do more and more with it. And that's something that Mojang Studios and Marcus have been the most proud of, is to see something that they took, which was so simple to begin with, and give it to the people and see what the amazing things they've been able to do with it. I mean, and that's where it's not really their game anymore. It's more of this game that they gave to the people, and they've turned it into this beautiful thing that Mojang is proud to have said that they've started and everything. Now, it's also worth mentioning, and obviously we can't cover everything. We're coming to a break in a little bit, but what the bigger business decision, this is more important, and this is definitely important, worth noting, is because Microsoft now owns Mojang and Minecraft, what will this mean for Minecraft in the future? Because for everyone out there, Minecraft is not just a PC game. Minecraft is on virtually every console or tablet or device that you own right now. You can buy it on your iPhone, you can buy it for the tablet, the PS3, 360, Xbox One, PS4, PC, and I think even there's a 3DS version coming in for Nintendo. So if Microsoft owns this, what does this mean for all of those other versions. Are they going to die out? Are they going to have to be shut down? Fortunately, they were very adamant, and Microsoft has all but confirmed it, is that they will not be touching any of the competing devices. So everyone can rest assured that whatever world you built on your PS3 or your PS4, it will stay there. Nothing's going to happen to it. All these other versions of Minecraft will still be playable, and they still have been. I mean, this merger happened, or this acquisition happened about 3 weeks ago. So it's great to see that they're still keeping every avenue and channel open for gamers who want to play this game the way they want to play it. You know, if you want to play it with a huge server and a massive world, you can do that. You can do it on the PC, you can do it on the Xbox, the PS4. If you want to play it just as a mobile game, just a simple, easy passing the time, you're in the waiting room type deal, it's still going to be on your iPhone and the iPad. And I think that was definitely a great PR move on Microsoft's part. So I'm happy to see that they're sticking with that.
All right. You're listening to the Computer America show on the Blog Talk Radio Network. We're on the Boost Radio Network, the IRN Radio Network. It is our Gamer Tuesday show. Ben and I are talking to Grayson Hamilton. He's our Computer America Gamer Correspondent. We're talking about Microsoft's recent purchase of Minecraft for $2.5 billion. We got a new News Tips Bulletin review coming up next. Stay with us.
Hey everyone, have you heard about the No Hair Removal device that's sweeping the globe? If you want to go weeks without shaving and get smooth, professional quality results, here's our favorite host, Cheryl, for No Hair Removal.
Thanks. Hey gals, I love talking about my No. It's this cute little hair removal system that you can take with you and use almost anywhere at home or on the road. No more expensive in-office treatments, painful waxing, and no more wasting your valuable time. Got unwanted facial hair? No has patented thermocon technology that works on all hair and skin colors, so it's perfect for using on all body parts. And now you can take advantage of this incredible risk-free trial. Get the No, the facial kit, a travel case, and a $100 discount shopping card, and you don't risk a penny to try it. Try the incredible No hair completely risk-free. Call 1-800-953-5415. That's 800-953-5415. 800-953-5415.
Looking for a best friend? Brother Wolf Animal Rescue has your best friend waiting just for you. The mission is to protect and enhance the lives of companion animals and the people who love them. Their no-kill rescue shelter is open year-round, making it easy for people to adopt their best new friend. This year, Brother Wolf will find homes for over 2,400 orphan dogs, puppies, cats, and kittens. All have ended up as an orphan through no fault of their own. Brother Wolf has created a safe, nurturing environment where these special animals can heal emotionally and physically until they find a lifelong home. Their life-saving transport program brings dogs and puppies from overcrowded shelters in the south to rescues in the north where homes are easier to find. Brother Wolf Animal Rescue is a 501c3 organization. To learn more about their life-saving work and to make a donation, visit their website at www.bwar.org. That's www.bwar.org. Help to realize Brother Wolf's vision when no animal is euthanized for lack of a home.
Who's a good boy?
Greetings. This is Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America of the unannounced updates to PhoneSo. The product itself only about a year old. It's a small flat case that you can fit almost any kind of cell phone into and charge it. And while it's charging, front and back UVC lights sanitize it. If you've ever seen a handset under black light, you may know how many germs you're putting in your ear and holding up your face every day. This cleans it. Cleans it, gets it ready to use. Here's what's new. It now supports USB 3 charging levels, which means if you have a Galaxy S5 or you get a Galaxy S6, which support those levels, you can now recharge faster. It now has 7 green pilot lights. Blue tells you when the 5-minute sanitizing cycle is up. Green tells you when your phone doesn't need to get any more charging done. Now, 2 colors for the case itself, black or white. And only 1 color for germs. They're gone. Bottom line, the new update, PhoneSo, about $65, sometimes less online. stops you from holding all those germs against your face. This is Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America.
Welcome back to the Computer America Show. 33 minutes past the hour. We have Grayson Hamilton here with us. And real quick, that was Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review. And
have you ever lent a phone to somebody to use? I just need a moment.
I feel like, well, first of all, I can say for sure that every time I would hand my own mother my cell phone, she would take it from my hand and she would wipe it on her shirt, and then she would put it on her face. Like, she didn't even trust me.
No.
Yeah, that's gross.
And then when someone hands it back to you, and let's say it's a little warm out of it's full of gunk, and you go, oh my gosh, because it just.
I think it's one of those things where it's like, if you knew, you wouldn't use it, so don't bother knowing. Like, it won't kill you, but it would gross you out too much to use it.
Well, you could catch Ebola from it.
Yeah, but that's neither here nor there. We're the Grayson Hamilton, and we're talking about Minecraft, and we're just wrapping up because that was really one of the biggest stories last month. Microsoft shelling out $2.5 billion for a game that, you could probably argue had probably hit its peak, if not, had hit saturation levels of, that any other game would be completely satisfied with. Like, it had already sold numerous copies.
You think that's why he sold it? He figured, hey, we can't take it any further, and let's take our $2.5 billion and run like bandits?
I don't want to say that wasn't an issue, but I'm sure that probably came into effect. Like, he probably thought that's as far as he could have taken Minecraft.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the other part. His reasons for leaving as well were he has a list of other projects that he wants to accomplish. That's completely understandable. You don't want to be, you don't want to be designing or working on one game your entire career. I feel like that would just drive you insane.
Yeah, and now he doesn't. I mean, he doesn't
do these other projects, right?
Yeah, he can do whatever he wants,
Exactly. And why should we stop him if his first major creation was Minecraft? It's kind of like, well, you're batting 1,000, dude. So yeah, please go do more things. Of course, you have $1.75 billion. Hell, he could buy Detroit and turn it into Minecraft if he wanted to. It's a really good idea.
Yeah, really.
Might be a better use for those $1 houses.
Well, the other part of it, and I think this is more the reason of what Microsoft is thinking, is they're obviously thinking ahead, and this acquisition wasn't for Minecraft. I think it was for Mojang. They're looking at Mojang's future, going, these guys have ingenuity. They think innovatively. Let's get these guys on our team, and let's help them create their next big product, whatever that may be.
Yeah, but I understand the company's only as good as the people that's in it. But two of the biggest brains of the company have left. I mean, was that in the deal? Did they know that the founder and the co-founder were just basically going to leave? And what are they left with?
No, it's true. Leadership is changing. I'm sure their business strategy is changing, because now they're no longer independent. They're owned by a major company.
Yeah.
So the good news is they know they're not going anywhere. They're not going to be, they don't have to worry about the financial structure. They're not going to have to worry about job. Well, they will have to worry about job security because Microsoft loves to lay off people.
Yeah.
But at least they know that they belong to a bigger parent tree, so they don't have the burden of where the money's coming from is no longer an issue, which is always nice when you get to that point, because now they can focus on creation. But like you said, yeah, the two other biggest people are now gone. So who takes over the creation? Who takes over the leadership, the management decisions? These are all things that I'm sure even as of right now are being worked out and having to be scrutinized and moving forward.
Wouldn't they have? Don't you think it would have been a good idea for them to have done that before they bought the company? Kind of scrutinize and say, okay, these two guys are leaving. Before they make the purchase. I
was like, if I know anything about business deals or high-level business deals, which I absolutely do not, they probably wanted to keep as much confidential as they could until they finalize the deal. So a guy who has just built up this company from the ground up just left his own company, and now it's being sold off to Microsoft. Like, that doesn't sound as good as, oh, it was acquired by Microsoft, and the leader is, and the CEO is heading off to something else. So
Well, and Ben hit it kind of right on the, I think right on the head there. Is I think when this initially happened and they were approached and Microsoft said, we would like to do an acquisition with you guys, and I'm sure Marcus, when he first heard this, was of course thinking, no, why would I want to do that, and was of course adamantly against it. Now the thing is business-wise, it might have actually made sense, especially considering the number they threw down.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know who it's. You'd have to really be the Pope to be able to look at that number and say, no, you know what, I'm good.
Well, I mean, right? I mean, what? Maybe he says, I wouldn't sell this. I have 2.5 billion, as I would, and they go, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
give him a crazy number, and Microsoft was crazy enough to say, oh yeah, sure, no, we can do that.
Wow.
But the thing is part of it, I'm sure, was when they really got down to seriously discussing this, was Marcus just didn't want to be a part of it, or simply was saying, if you guys want to be acquired, if the company wants to go in this way, I won't stop you, but I don't want to go down that road. And because he might have understood that further down the road, this would take him farther away from designing the games that he wants to design. Because remember, once he becomes part of Microsoft, anything that he does is Microsoft. They slap their name on it and everything. Maybe he wants to, like Minecraft when it started, he wants to create something for himself, so no one else can put his name on them. So he doesn't have a publisher saying, we helped him do this and we got him in the right slot and the people. No, I think he is a man of creation who wants to stand by his product and say that a corporation and a business didn't make this. I made this. I made this with my friends, my colleagues. We put our names on this. Try it out. Tell us what you think. And from a purely design aspect, I can understand that. Now, like everything else in the world, business always turns everything to, it's always another dimension of complication that unfortunately that realistically we have to deal with one way or another.
Yeah, but also I mean the fact there is the possibility that it's like a music group. They come out with this great hit and this is great. Well, let's continue on, and how many one-hit wonders were out there. Maybe this Minecraft was a great idea and it was wonderful, but that's pretty much all he's ever going to do. And nothing else he's going to do is going to come near what Minecraft was.
I disagree. Okay. I really disagree, because I think Marcus, especially now, because when Minecraft was when that was way back in the early parts of his career, he wasn't a billionaire, and he didn't have a sound financial structure, a business behind him. It was simply the art of the game. Now, he never has to worry about money ever again. Not him, not his kids, his grandkids, his great grandkids. I mean, he is I would say virtually impenetrable.
Yeah.
From the world for the rest of his life and his kids' life. So the great thing now is he doesn't ever have to worry about his product being a success or failure. Like, he doesn't have to ride his whole career, his business and everything, saying he'll never be in a position where saying let's say, for example, the next thing he makes, and it's if this doesn't sell, I go under. Yeah. He will never have to think in that, which means he can take as much time, as much money, as much resources as he wants to create whatever it is he wants to do. And I think with all that stuff away, without those burdens, those pressures, he has so much more potential to focus strictly on the creation, on the creative side of it, saying, it doesn't matter when this comes out, or how much it's going to cost me, or how many people it takes. I get to do this, and when I do, I'll put my name on it, and people will like it. They may not like it. Who knows? Let's find out.
And when he unveils it,
great position to be in.
And when he unveils it, the curtains part, and we see Minecraft 2.
Well, I mean, I'm sure there's been talk about there being a Minecraft 2.
Yeah.
So who knows? And that might be what Mojang does next. Microsoft may want a sequel.
But
Marcus was saying, no, this is like, I'm done with Minecraft. Like, I feel like I've gone as far as I want with it. I don't think it wants a sequel. I don't want to make a sequel, so I'm going to go in a different direction.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
And of course, one last thing before we move off Minecraft was, of course, we did the story last night where Microsoft has already started porting it over to the Windows Phone.
Yeah,
So
well, shocker there.
yeah, so the first big thing that they do with it is try to get it everywhere because it's already the most played game on the Xbox 360. It beats out Halo, Call of Duty, all that kind of stuff.
amazing.
It's already the biggest console game. It's hugely popular on the computer. So it's they're trying to get it everywhere they can, and luckily, I guess it already was before they even bought it.
Let me ask you this one last question too, and I'm going to put this out to both of you, and I want you to ponder this question before you blurt something out. Knowing what you know about games and starting, would you ever have expected, and knowing let's say all these great games, and then you see Minecraft, would you have ever guessed that Minecraft would become the kind of game that it was? I mean, when you look at it from the beginning, would you have expected this to become the kind of game that it is, given its simplicity?
Would you have expected Angry Birds to have become as successful as it has been?
No, I wouldn't have. I would not have.
There are games, and there will always be games out there, and Minecraft is not the first, nor will it be the last. There are games out there that for one reason or another will always defy the financial expectations, where it's on paper this shouldn't have happened, but for some reason it's a success. Here's an off-the-wall example. Sunday, the Cowboys. I'm going football. Check this out. I'm going NFL football. Dallas Cowboys, on paper, should have been completely demolished by the Seattle Seahawks. And for some reason, and I'm a Cowboys fan, for some reason, they won. So as far as I know, I'm in the Matrix right now because that should not have happened. There are like weird things happen, and I'm not saying Minecraft's weird. I mean, there is a great formula behind Minecraft, which is why it's successful. Now, why people keep going back to it, that's a lot more gray area. That's more of a personal thing, and it's something that, like I said, is unquantifiable. It really is hard to say that it just has that X factor. And I'm going to bring up this X factor again when we're about to transition into Destiny. Because Destiny is looking to stay around for the next 8-9 years.
Yeah.
Very, very hard thing to do. I mean, World of Warcraft's been around for over 10 years now. Congratulations to Blizzard. They had a winning formula. They built a solid game from the ground up. Scientifically, they had research put into this, and I could go on for a whole show explaining why World of Warcraft is one of the most successful games ever made, because from a science standpoint, it was built to be a successful game, and it is. Destiny, however, is not built on success, and it was not designed as great as it should have been. However, and people understand this, it's not a phenomenal game. I mean, it's a good game. Some would argue that it's just all right, and yet people are still playing it. People are still putting out. I hit the cap 4 days after I started playing Destiny. 4 days in, I hit the level cap. I am still putting in 2.5 hours a day on this game. So some people would ask me, why or how are you still playing this? Part of it is because the game is built as an investment, and I see it as an investment that way, because I know this game is going to be adding things in the future, and I want to be ready and prepared so that I could experience that future if and when it comes. But that's now that's a different design aspect. It's just Minecraft, like things like Angry Birds and what's that puzzle, Candy Crush,
or Flappy Bird,
or Flappy Bird as well. See, it's sometimes simple games just do well, and it's odd because sometimes you can't explain it. You can't really describe it. When Angry Birds first came out, if you were to tell me, explain to me how this became a game that has made billions, literally billions of dollars off a $1 app. Can you explain how that happened? I would say, I've got no clue. I beat this game in 2 hours. I don't know how you could make this any more entertaining, but yet people are still playing it. So it's it's a weird world out there, and I understand it, and I'm happy for Mojang, I'm happy for Marcus, I'm happy for Microsoft, obviously, because they have Minecraft. But I want to look to the future. This has happened. It's great. Minecraft has had its mark. I agree with Ben on this. I think it's done what it's needed to do, and now let's take the talent that created it and let's put them and Marcus forward towards whatever the next big project's going to be. So, but that's my 2 cents on it.
Okay. All right. Well, then let's move on to.
Oh no, it's cool. I didn't want to answer anyways. You're good.
Say again?
No, I didn't want to answer anyways. You're good.
Okay, no, you're good. Go ahead. We want your input. What do you think?
The original question,
Yes.
if I remember it, was something along the lines of, would you thought this was going to be a success? And the answer is probably yeah. I mean, you can just kind of tell. These games spread because they're so successful right off the bat. If it was, kind of a rocky start, it has potential, but for an app, I've played better. Like for Angry Birds, that had to be great right out of the bat, and
Was it?
it had to be great right away.
Was it?
And oh yeah, sure. I mean, people were telling each other about it left, right, and center. They're saying, "Hey, I found this great app. I found this great game, and you should really buy it, and you should really try it out. It's called Angry Birds. Try it." And it, from word of mouth and just from social media, it just took off. So I mean, with Minecraft, people love fiddling, playing these simple little things, and the simpler it is to play, but the harder it is to master, the better the game is going to do.
Well,
I think a lot of games try to focus on that.
Well, when you first played Minecraft, did you find it amazingly addicting, or did you say, I mean, what was your first impression?
Personally, I had it built up so much by people who had played it that when I went into it, like, yeah, I saw the appeal, and I played, probably my share of, 30, 40 hours on it, but I didn't put in the 3,000, 4,000 hours that some people have. So, yeah, it's fun, but I think it takes, it has to hit the right kind of person.
And
So,
Angry Birds, same thing. Would you say you played it, the slingshot?
I played that too, and I'm with Gray on this one. I beat that game in 3 hours, and I was like, I'm done with it. So,
Okay.
but as long as games stick to a very simple formula, and that's easy to play, hard to master, you're going to get people who are going to come back, play it, and enjoy it. Then that's the winning formula.
Yeah. Well, okay. I mean, for example, there's a game out called Labyrinth that I had as a kid. I had the actual wooden box, the two things, and you actually had a metal ball, and then they made a version for my iPhone, many years.
You're talking about the one that you're supposed to maneuver around the maze and not fall in the holes and then fall in the right hole.
Right, and then they have all different. And I thought that was amazing. It's simple to play. I mean, they understand it. It's simple to understand, but then to master it, it takes a lot of work to do. They give you some easy levels, and so I can see where that could become addictive. I guess. Now
imagine a simple wooden maze with little balls that you can maybe switch here and there, and then figure it anything you want to do. Anything you can do.
Well, you can with the game they have now. You can actually build your own mazes and things like that, and design them.
It's more than a little metal ball. I wouldn't be surprised if someone made a labyrinth in Minecraft. Undoubtedly.
Okay. Well,
all right, I'm done with Minecraft.
All right, we're done with this. Okay. Well, let's move on to Destiny. I know you started to touch upon it, Grayson. So, Ken, I guess it's been out for about a month, and I guess the question you're asking is, can Destiny achieve its destiny?
Well, I mean, it's the bare bones question that I keep coming back to, like, every time I play it. And I know, we're coming up on a break, so we're gonna have to come back to this. But the idea that they touted when they were designing this whole game was the idea of we want to create a sci-fi shooter MMO that'll be around forever. And by forever, of course, they mean at least like 5, 6, 7 years. And allegedly, they have built, at least on some form, concept, infrastructure, actual design. They have 10 years worth of content lined up for Destiny. 10 years. That's a lot of patches. It's a lot of expansions. So A month in, of course, is a very shallow, almost impossible way to see if it's going to continue. And the reason for for bringing this up only a month in is because I'm overly impressed with how much they've fixed in the month since it launched. Having said that, why was there so much that needed to be fixed from the get-go? There were a lot of weird decisions, and my biggest complaint with the game, and this has been fixed, was the way the loot system was designed. And this is, of course, what brought about the loot cave controversy, which they have fixed, but there are other loot caves out there. Now, these loot caves refer to glitches in the game that allow you to kill enemies over and over. Just like think of them just pouring out of one single place, and you are just sitting there hours on end just mowing them down with bullets. Now, why would you do this?
Rack up points?
No, for loot. The whole game, the end game. So once you hit level 20, you can't level anymore. That's the max. The only way you can get better is by getting new equipment that has an attribute on it that's called light. The more light you have, the higher your level goes up. So the level cap's 20. I am now level 28. That's based on this light. Now, where does this gear come from? Well, the game, and what they want you to do is they want you to play the hardest difficulty missions and group stuff, activities, to get those. However, people have found that you could actually just go to this loot cave and shoot at these things for hours on end, and you have a much better shot at getting this gear. Now, that's not how they wanted you to play this game.
It's a
They
bug?
want you to get out there and do these hard level things.
Is it a bug?
Sorry?
Is it a bug?
It is a bug. It's a bug that they have fixed, but people keep finding new loot caves.
Oh.
But one of the things that they don't want you to play it that way. So they want you to play by their terms. But the problem was the reward system. If you put in, for example, Ben, think about this. You're big WoW fans, so you understand this. Let's say 20 people, you get together, 20-man raid, you take them to Blackwing Lair, Molten Core, whatever the new 20-person raid is. I haven't played in years. Let's say you spend all this time. It's a 4-hour journey to beat this whole thing, and at the end of the game, at the end of the final boss, you kill him. He doesn't drop anything. Let's say he drops a couple blues, no legendaries, no purples. How easy, or let's put it this way: how hard would it be to convince you to do this raid again, without any certification, without any actual confirmation that you will get anything out of this?
If you're doing all stick and no carrot, it's, for 4 hours, for a group of people, for, all the moms yelling, get off that computer game, it's time for dinner, for all the girlfriends that are trying to get you to pay attention to them, for all the pets that are sitting there trying to go out, for all the people you have to ignore, and the group, and just the amount of people you have to get together. If you don't get something for that, forget it. If there's an easier way, you're doing that instead.
Cheating.
Yes, exactly. See, this is something that they've quickly realized was a major problem, and especially is a problem on an MMO design level. It's not that the game isn't designed well. It is. It's not that the game isn't challenging. It is. The problem is and this is not really just games. This is from a human perspective. If you work hard towards something, you expect and rightfully should receive rewards for your efforts. I am not going to do the hardest raid in Destiny unless I'm damn sure that I'm going to be getting something for it at the end of it. Now, what that something is can be random. It could be anything from a sniper rifle to a helm to actually just to materials that I would use to upgrade my existing gear. But at some point, there has to be something. You cannot create or expect people to go through and do all of these challenging things unless you're going to reward them for the efforts. And that was why things like the loot cave started becoming popular. That's why people started playing Destiny in a way that they did not anticipate or want them to play it, was because, well, if you expect me to put down 2-3 hours to beat this raid, and then I walk away with something actually I walk away with empty-handed, then no, I'm not going to want to do it. And who would? I mean, I wouldn't, if I put all that time in, beat it, and then I got a blue, like just a random rare item that, at that level, blues you don't use anymore. Blue is trash. Anything that's not purple is trash. So if I don't walk out of there with something that I can use, I'm already at a disadvantage, and I just say, you know, it's not worth it. But then people say, well, hey, if you go to this loot cave and you shoot at this hole in the wall for an hour, you're guaranteed at least 2 or 3 purples. Hell, sign me up. Show me where it is. And guess what happened? And this is exactly what happened. I tested this, and it worked out just fine. I got 3 purples in 2 hours. Those same 2 hours would have gotten me nothing in a raid. So who's to say that a loot cave is wrong if it's doing what they wanted us to do? It's just not the way they expected us to do it. So this is one of the many problems that Destiny has going for it in the time to come. So if this is where we're starting off, the question, of course, still comes back to, can Destiny achieve its destiny of being a 5-6 year game? Well, there are some few more things that I want to talk about because I know we're right at the break. And there's been a lot of good fixes, and we'll talk about the fixes too. So there's a lot more, and I'm excited to get into it. So we got to, of course, get to the break.
All right. So you listen to the Computer America Show on the Blog Talk Radio Network, on the Boost Radio Network, and the IRN Radio Network. Grayson Hamilton is our gamer correspondent here on our Gamer Tuesday show. Lots more coming up. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Broadcasting live. It's the only national radio talk show on computers to air every weeknight. Computer America. Hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. The first hour's behind us, but there's still more of tech news, tech talk, and your phone calls. We're being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. You got computer problems? Bring them on. You're listening to Computer America. Computers run the world, and we run computers. Call us or send us an email to live@computeramerica.com.
Hello and welcome into Hour 2 of the nation's longest-running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. This is the Computer America Show, and I'm your host, Craig Crossman.
And I'm your co-host, Ben.
And we continue on, Gamer Tuesday. Grayson Hamilton, our gamer correspondent. In the first hour, we talked primarily about Mojang and makes the Minecraft game and Microsoft's acquisition of it for $2.5 billion and why and all the inner beneath the surface viewpoints that Grayson.
How was that a good move?
Yes. And of course, if you missed it, you can certainly listen again. We archive all of our shows at ComputerAmerica.com. Under the archives pull-down menu, you can listen to them at Blog Talk Radio. They're archived over at Apple's iTunes. There was a little glitch on Thursday and Friday. I think it was just a pre-Columbus Day glitch, and on Monday, and then basically it's corrected itself, so we're back. It's not that we went away. We were there. We just lost like 2 months' worth of shows. It had the last 4 shows, and then we lost 2 months before the next one picked up. But fortunately, they've come back, and they're all there again. So everything is there. So you can listen to it when you click the iTunes link on our archives page. You can see the website, or it'll actually take you to iTunes. Either way you want to do it, and then you can listen to it. And of course, it's the one that's up there now is the proper one, and where all of our shows are archived at iTunes. So we have that in place now. So as I said, we're now talking about Destiny, and we're answering the question: can Destiny achieve its destiny? Grayson Hamilton. We were talking about the Loot Cave controversy, and just before the break, Gray, you said you had a few more points that you wanted to bring out about this. Again, if you have a question or comment, you want to talk to us, 347-884-8881. 347-884-8881. Get you through. Email live@computeramerica.com. Our chat room on our chat room /live video page. Again, from our homepage at computeramerica.com. So, all right. So now I know the fourth point in here is you say a story. What story? Where's the story? Is that what you wanted to bring up?
Well, this is one of the fewer ones. Yeah, so one of the things that a lot of complaints from gamers have shown is and this is it's so absent, it's almost funny, is there is almost no semblance of an actual plot or story to this game. It's weird because from the very beginning, you're told that this giant planet just hovered its way to Earth, and they call it the Traveler. And this planet ushered us into a golden age of discovery, and we moved to the other planets, Venus and Mars, and we did great things. And then all of a sudden, this bad guy that they call the Darkness came to our solar system and destroyed a lot of what we created. Enter you, the player. You are resurrected, and you are told that you are one of the few guardians that has the potential to fight the darkness. And so you go from planet to planet following clues from each mission, and you're fighting evil. Now, that evil takes its form in different alien races that seem to inhabit each of the various planets. Where those people come from, you're never told. What the darkness is that you're fighting, you're never explained. Why the Traveler, the giant planet, can't talk and seems to be dying, yeah, that's not explained either. Matter of fact, where the character that Peter Dinklage, the famed actor from Game of Thrones, he voices the ghost. It's your little companion that follows you everywhere. Where he comes from is actually described either. So there are so many plot holes in this actual story that you can't even really call it a story. You're not fully explained what it is you're fighting, who's behind it, or even why all of this matters. It's more just really just the most shallow means of stitching together these planets and giving you a reason to go from planet to planet. So it's one of all right, we've been on Earth for a while, now we have to go to the moon. Why? Because darkness. Okay. So you go to the moon. All right, now we have to go. It's telling us to go to Venus. Why? Because reasons. Darkness. So you go to each of these planets and you're fighting evil.
You're taking it on faith.
And that works out really well. So one of the most difficult, frustrating things about it is it feels so much less like a story and it's more of a grind. I mean, say what you will about World of Warcraft being a grind for the first many years. At least it had story to it. At least you understood why you were going from continent to continent, from zone to zone. You were, the progression, and then where it ends up, how your character can help the Horde or the Alliance. There was an actual, tangible purpose behind World of Warcraft, and there still is. And they're going, I'm sure with Warlords of Draenor it's going to be even more because they're going back to the source material. But with Destiny, it's just not there. I go to these planets, I fulfill missions, I get gear. That's about it. Peter Dinklage he says things. He sounds Peter Dinklage-like, so that's cool. But it's just there's no, like I said, there's no plot behind it, and it's just odd. You wonder where all this is. Enter one of my editors, Corey. He explained that actually a lot of the story, it's not that it wasn't removed, it's on Bungie's website. You have to actually, and the thing is they want you to download the Destiny app on your smartphone. And from there, you can learn all about the history of each of these races, the Traveler. You get to learn all this, but you have to go to Bungie through the app. Now, explain to me this, if you can, Ben. Why would anyone in their right mind do this?
It's not unheard of. I mean, Blizzard is actually pretty well known for putting out novels. They actually commission authors to write novels, and we're talking about a game that focuses on 12 and 13-year-olds, and they're selling dead trees with words printed on them. But you could go your entire gaming career without ever picking up a novel, and you'd still get enough story to realize, oh, okay, this is what we're doing. For them to put it on an app, to put it on an outside source, it makes no sense. You need to put at least enough in there to keep you engaged.
No, they're essentially pimping their website. That's how you get story. Is you get these cards in the game, and then through the app, you can then go to the Bungie website and learn about the enemy you just killed, or the loot that you just got, or whatever weird random Easter egg. So it's like they have tons of history and backstory they built to this game, but it's not seen anywhere in the game. Now, some argue is that it's because we're only given the surface level of Destiny. You know, that all this other stuff is going to be revealed in the months and years to come, assuming Destiny does that well. But I'm, been around this industry for a while, and, reality is never exactly what you expect. So whether or not Destiny gets there and they actually have the time to show us that, I'm not going to look at right now. I'm looking at it from a gamer's perspective, as a player who wants to continue, who wants to continue in this game. It's just staggering that there's how much is left out, and it's not that it's purposefully done so. It's just it seems like they're using it for another means, like they just want more traffic on the Bungie website, which I know isn't the case, but we'll just use that as a reason right now. So if we start on this, that's one of the major problems. We've talked about that. We've talked about the loot aspect, which like I said has been fixed. So now if you play these strikes, you actually get real gear. Or at least you get a chance at getting real gear. Now, I wanted to bring this up, and I want to bring up this little humor moment because I think, Ben, you'll really enjoy this. The harshest criticism of Destiny has actually been in the form of a Twitter account.
What?
Have you guys heard about this?
No.
Okay,
No.
so let me give you this little bit of backstory so you guys understand it. So in the game, you don't when you get loot, it's called engram, E-N-G-R-A-M, an engram, and it's what it looks like is mystery. You don't know what it is. You have to take it to a person. Basically, you have to. Ben, you played Diablo, right? You know how you had to identify something before you could see all its good stuff?
Yeah,
Okay, exact same.
Yeah.
Yeah, exact same philosophy here. So you get this blurry image, this little jewel, and it could be a weapon, it could be an armor, it could be anything. You don't know. You have to take it to a decoder who lives in the tower, and he will decode it, and then you find out what it is. So the funny thing was, now loot is based on color. Now this is for everyone out there. It's almost universal. Green, that's uncommon. It'll be slightly cool, but it's not really. It's meh. You could throw it away. Blue is rare. So if you get a blue, that's usually pretty good. You'll use blues for a couple levels before you find something better. But blues will stick with you. Purple, that's legendary. Now, that's rare equipment. That's really, really powerful stuff. And then there's the one above it, which is called exotic. I think in World of Warcraft, that's orange, isn't it?
Orange and legendary, yep.
Yeah. So in this, it's yellow. And that's one-of-a-kind stuff. Those are truly unique weapons or armor. You'll never have to replace them, or you'd be hard-pressed to replace them. So someone created a Twitter account called Legendary Engram, and he uses the same picture that is in the game. It's purple and everything. The funny thing was, and this is still the case in this game, this still happens, you can go on a strike, which is like a little group, and you can pick up a Legendary Engram. You can then take that Legendary to the decoder, and when he decodes it, it can be a blue item.
Okay.
I'm not joking. This has happened to me several times, and it got so frustrating for everyone. Someone created a Twitter account that explains exactly how angry, just how angered and incensing this aspect is. Here, let me read you some of these tweets, because I love this guy. He goes, just to remind you to aspire for more, I dropped for the player at the bottom of the PvP leaderboard. But joke's on him, I am green gloves. See, I love that. Did you hear? Much like that Crucible playlist you actually like, I'm only available on the weekends. You might as well just stop looking. He just goes on, some of these are very, very clever, but he goes on, but it's all making a point, is that even when you get some of these, you get a chance at, if a Legendary Engram drops, you're still not guaranteed an actual legendary. And that's really, really angering. Trust me. Now,
That loot
it's
system
gotten a
just
lot better.
sounds so kludgy.
Yeah, it's gotten a lot better. So nowadays, you're almost assuredly going to get some kind of purple. You don't know what it is, but you almost assuredly get it. It still can be a blue, but the chances have been modified significantly in a patch. So they work towards that. But again, this brings you back to the same point. Why would you do this? Why would you make this design this kind of system? And then most developers go, yeah, no, this will work. People will be okay with this. No. It's not only am I playing, my butt off to get through these things, but then it's kind of like you're still cheating me out of my reward. Like that doesn't feel good at all. And your only response is, well, I guess you just got to try harder. Get back in there, do it again. It's like, oh, not really. That's not how that works. So, a lot of things have changed, thankfully. It has improved dramatically. The matchmaking system has improved. So there's the server structure is a lot more stable. Since they patched it last week, I have not been dropped once. So
Nice.
For those of you who are afraid of server issues, they're actually incredibly stable. Surprisingly, lag issue non-existent. I have yet to receive even an iota of lag, even in PvP. So, they've got some things that are just right there, that are just doing it and setting out what they meant to do. But like I said, the content is what's going to keep people coming back. And for someone like me, case in point, for just today, Borderlands, the pre-sequel, released today. Now, for those out there who don't play Borderlands, go play it right now.
Okay.
Seriously, go play it. It's a great game. You'll
Agreed.
love it. Like, first-person shooter, it's awesome. The sense of humor is fantastic. You'll love the game. Now, one of the things that people bring about is if Destiny's system is based on loot, if that's what keeps you coming back, and you're not guaranteed it, the funny thing about Borderlands 2 is Borderlands 2 has been designed and touted as a loot whore game. And what that means is loot it's not hard to get loot in Borderlands. As a matter of fact, it's basically thrown at you throughout the entire game. You will be disassembling, you'll be ignoring hundreds of guns in that entire game, But people like that because they're seeing the rewards come at them in such great amounts, and that's going to lure, at least this is what I argue, is that's going to lure a good section of people away from Destiny. Because they're going to see another first-person shooter game that, unlike Destiny, rewards you for your quests, your missions, for all the stories. Overly rewards you, I might add. You can get legendaries, purples, blues, you'll get all kinds of guns in Borderlands 2. And while some people say, well, that's a superficial, excuse, I don't think that's going to lure away a lot of, gamers who know what kind of quality games they're playing. Ho, I beg to differ.
Yep.
I will be playing Borderlands 2 for the next while. And I'm going to take a very hard look at my feelings and my perspective on Destiny as I play Borderlands 2. And that will decide in the month to come if I return to Destiny or not. So I'll be able to update you guys in November and say, you can ask me, well, are you still playing Destiny? I will be able to finally tell you and say, yes, I am, or no, I'm not.
Yeah, that's one of the things that kind of made me stop playing Diablo 3. In that, yes, they had an expansion. Yes, that they keep putting in content to make you want to come back. It's still a very long grinding process to hit max level, which I didn't even achieve. But I hit 60, but I didn't hit 160. But their loot system with the auction house and things like that, they mess up their loot system so bad that the only way to get the best gear that you could, which is what keeps you coming back, is especially in a game that just gives you loot after loot after loot, is to try to get the best gear that you can. And with something like Diablo, Blizzard, even they screwed this up. The best way to get the best gear was to spend about $200 of real money a piece in the auction house, or 3 billion gold pieces in the auction house. Loot is such an easy thing to mess up that getting it right, and when you do it right, it shows. It shows in the people who play it and the people who buy the game.
Absolutely. And and we come back to it. This is the biggest question that that Bungie will need to have with Destiny when it comes to how longevity it's going to be. Whether or not they want to say it's part of the content and the PvP system, which it isn't. It purely isn't. The PvP system is decent. It is not anywhere in the same solar system as the way people play Halo. I want to make that clear. So what's going to bring people back to Destiny? Honestly, it's going to have to be the loot. People are, and I've seen it from mine. I've seen it through family, friends, colleagues who play all kinds of MMOs. Improving your character, becoming as strong as you can is inherently a very powerful incentive to continue playing a game long after you've beaten it. That's definitely part of the MMO addiction. So they need to recognize that, and then they need to start building around that. So they've taken good steps to reverse their loot cave problem and start really rewarding players for what it is. Now, in the near future, they're going to need to continue doing this to show us that there is a tangible reason to come back to Destiny. Now, also, there's more. There should be additional content, and we're talking like there's only 3 classes. Each class has 2 subclasses. So that's 6 total. That's kind of small for such a huge game. Now, they will be adding new subclasses in the future. I'm hoping they also add new classes. That would be nice too. New weapons. Or new kinds of guns. Let's put it that way. And one of the interesting things I noticed is every class can use every single gun. Now I know you never want to restrict a player's choices too much. I get that, but at the same time, that also makes the 3 characters less distinguishable from each other. The only big difference between the 3 classes are their special moves, which are these powered up moves that you get to use once every 20 minutes or something. But other than that, there's no real difference between the classes. So, for example, it would have been interesting to see if Titans, which are like the tank class, what if they were the only ones who could use shotguns? And what if you made Hunters the only kinds of characters that could use sniper rifles? That would have made it a more interesting dynamic to see which classes get chosen, and then more importantly, that would make the strikes, which are the group missions in the game, would make it even more interesting to see how people would deal with missions if they couldn't have access to all the weapons. Like, could you beat a strike on Venus with just 3 warlocks, which means you'd have, for example, you wouldn't have any access to sniper rifles. Could you still beat the strike? Well, let's find out. Those are cool ways that you can still innovate in Destiny without having to change too much. Just an idea that I'm throwing out there.
So basically, you're saying class is inconsequential.
For the most part, yes. There really is no, like I said, there's no big difference between.
So why bother? Why bother? There's no incentive.
Well, I mean, there are some minor things that distinguish one from another. Even if it's something as simple as look or how it plays or something like that, it's that's one thing. But real quick, before we hit the break, I really want to get your take on this, Grayson. My biggest concern has been, they've said that Destiny is going to be a 5 to 6 year game. It's going to be a long game, and how does a game like this pull it off if it doesn't have a subscription set up to it? Because as far as Bungie is concerned, as soon as you've bought the $60 game, developing any more content for this is a waste of money. You're not unless they do some kind of DLC or they're doing microtransactions in the game, they're not making money on this, and so spending any more man hours on it is just it's just effort and resources down the hole.
Yeah. Now, and I'm glad you brought that up. We talked about this last month, Craig. You remember I was talking about the idea of how are they going to sustain this financially, and the answer is yeah, they're going to be putting price tags on the DLC. So patches are free, little additional events, those are free, but the DLC is where it's going to cost you. Now, I think as of right now, it's going to be $20 a pop. So the first 2 expansions or sorry, the first 2 DLC packs are $20 a piece, or you can buy them together for $35, save $5. What is that going to do for the people who are playing it right now? Like, for example, is that going to drive people away? I mean, well, it's going to drive a number of people away. Well, I rephrase that. It may not drive them away, but I guarantee you a majority of people playing Destiny will not be purchasing the DLC. I stand behind that with confidence. It will take time, and it will have to take a lot of incentive from these people to convince gamers that they need to continue spending money on Destiny. And now I talked about this before. Why am I playing Destiny so much after the fact that I've already beaten it and maxed out and seen everything? Well, because I say it's a quality of investment. You know, I want to have a strong character so that I can experience the best parts of the game that are supposed to come later on down the line. But they need to convince me that it's worth the $20 it's going to take, or however much it ends up being. You know, it could be more, it could be less. So the first major pack that's coming out is $20. I haven't been told what's in this DLC, what rewards are going to be coming out, or what kind of story it's going to give me. You know, the ending to Destiny is not even an ending. It's you kill a bad guy, and then this lady talks to you saying, well, that was great. You know, I'm glad you killed that bad guy, but there's so much more darker things out there in the universe. You've only scratched the surface. Well, show me the rest of it. Where is it? Where is it? I've been waiting for this.
Show me the bad guys.
Show me the bad guy. And they don't show it to you because apparently I'm going to have to pay money for it. So here's where the conflict with Destiny is. Can it go the 5 years, 6 years? From what they've built right now and the way it's done, technically speaking, yes, they can make it 5 years. However, because like I said, they designed the platform for this game to exist 5, 6 years. However, their challenge, and this is what's going to define it, is they're going to have to walk a very fragile line to keep players coming back for more in the years to come, and more importantly, get them to shell out the money for it. Because I guarantee you, the people who don't buy the DLC, they'll continue playing Destiny for a little bit. They'll play the PvP, they'll do the dailies, they'll build up their gear, but eventually they will have to make a choice in saying, all right, I either A, have to buy the DLC so I can see what's next, or I'm just going to walk away from this game because I'm done with it. And that's the point that Destiny has its biggest problem, is more often than not, as of right now, more people, I think, will walk away from Destiny than keep coming back for more. So they're going to have to play a lot of smart moves, and they're going to have to show us, like I said, they're going to have to be very transparent with these DLCs to show us precisely, point by point, why we should be paying more money for this game, because as of right now, I cannot justify paying another $60 for this game that I feel like I've already beaten. So if they want to be like World of Warcraft, where I bought this game for $60, but then I spent was it $15 a month? So that's 180, 360, $540 over the next 3 years. If Destiny wants that same thing out of me, then they have a lot of ground to cover. And I'm one of the more, I'll say, liberal, open-minded gamers, where it doesn't take very much to get me to pay more, but you have to show me quality and substance. But I'm on the easier end. The real challenge is going to be all the other people out there. There's a lot of people who, especially going into this holiday season, could say, yeah, I could spend $40 on this game, or Steam Winter Sale's coming up, and I could buy 30 games for $20. Or I could buy the new Smash Brothers 3DS, which, by the way, is a fantastic game. And that's out right now.
I heard about that. I heard when the new Smash Bros. Came out. They said that you and a couple of the other editors pretty much took the weekend off and had yourself a little tournament.
We did. We put it through its paces, had a good time, and I broke my 3DS.
See? Did good.
I am one of the people, and we'll bring this up after the break. I put a link out there. I am one of the many people who are breaking their 3DSs because we're playing Smash Brothers too hard.
Really?
That is a thing. Yeah.
You can play a game so hard that you break the hardware.
Yeah. Well, let me put. I should preface this. For most people out there, this is a very uncommon problem. But this can happen to the 3D because the 3DS is still a portable machine. It's fragile. You put too much pressure on it, it can malfunction and break. And the problem with 3DS is when you're such a huge fan as I am, you get into it. Especially you get those heated matches, you start pressing buttons pretty hard. And as it turns out, you might be able to do that with a controller. You can't really do that with a 3DS.
And we're talking Grayson Hamilton strength here. Not, this is like on par to the 6-year-old Japanese girl that is playing that game.
Mm-hmm.
It is equal to that pressure. It's crazy.
Exactly. So we can walk away from Destiny. So I will leave it with this. Overall, it's a solidly designed game. It's very polished and it has a lot of potential. I will see how it evolves over the next 2, 3, 6 months, but it has a very long journey ahead of it, and a lot of that's uphill. So to Bungie, I will say this: I'm excited. I hope you guys pull it off. I'll be, a fan of it from here on out. But you guys got to get to work.
All right, there it is. Okay, when we come back, we're going to continue talking about Blizzard. Now, start talking about Blizzard canceling Project Titan, and some of those other things like the Super Smash Brothers breaking their gamepad. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 120,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy and major car companies filing for bankruptcy, Cover America Auto Care has announced revolutionary, inexpensive mechanical breakdown coverage that is now available to the general public to save consumers thousands on auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for drivers to call who own a vehicle that is less than 10 years old for a free 5-minute quote and to see if you qualify. The number is 800-483-2514. Drivers who are covered with this auto protection will not have to pay for a covered repair again. This is the auto coverage now sweeping across America at a fraction of what dealerships charge and is now available to the public by calling today. The number to call is 800-483-2514. 800-483-2514. That's 800-483-2514.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number: 1-866-663-MyTV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. So, disable the cable and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-866-663-MyTV right now to sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99 and up to 4 rooms. And there's no equipment to buy. That includes your free HD TV upgrade, your free DVR upgrade, and your free professional installation. And the best part, the pristine picture and sound. Call 1-866-663-MyTV. So, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-866-663-MyTV. 1-866-663-MyTV. Disable the cable, cut costs, and get more. Call 1-866-663-MyTV. 1-866-663-MyTV.
Hello, this is Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America. This time, the TomTom Go 600. As far as severe weather conditions, among the highway hazard warnings it presents with TomTom traffic updates linked from its companion smartphone app. Lifetime maps and lifetime traffic updates are included, and that's nice. Some of its features would be a lot nicer if they worked better. It offers 3D maps that include buildings and landmarks, but not everywhere. It tells you how far before you need to turn. There. You can issue voice commands, but they're not reliable enough to allow hands-free navigation while driving. It displays the current speed and your current speed limit, but sometimes inaccurately. And its overspeed warnings begin at about 2 miles an hour over the current limit and sounds an alarm before you're 5 miles an hour before the limit. We have not been able to find a user setting to loosen that at all. Its route selections are sometimes indirect, involving multiple stops and turns with little or no improvement to travel time. These gripes aside, when it comes to basic get-me-there routing, it certainly can get that to happen and gives you route options. Bottom line, the TomTom Go 600 is a capable navigator with a major winter driving plus in its weather hazard warnings. This is Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America.
Not everything can be Beef Wellington, Craig. Welcome back to the Computer America Show, 33 minutes past the hour, in the second hour of our Gamer Tuesday.
You can try. I mean, the Beef Wellington was wonderful.
I have wanted to try it, but I hear it's about $25 a pound, and to make a decent sized one, you need about 3 pounds.
Yeah.
So that's an investment I'm not willing to make on meat just quite yet.
Not quite. Well, because it uses the filet mignon. That's what it is. That's what.
Yeah, I know. Can you imagine 3 pounds of filet?
Yeah, boy.
Crazy. No, I'm not willing to make that investment. But yes, we're doing Gamer Tuesday, and it's all about games. We have covered Minecraft, we have covered Destiny, and now it is time to move on to the infamous Titan project by Blizzard, which we have heard rumors about. We have speculated on every single job posting that Blizzard has put up in the last 6 years about, hey, we're hiring programmers for a super secret project. Don't tell anyone. It's Titan, but don't tell anyone. People have been following the development of Titan, even though they have been extremely hush-hush about it. And Grayson, we have finally heard from Titan.
In that it is gone. Yes, apparently this past month, Blizzard made the official announcement that they were indefinitely suspending development on what was called Project Titan. And this was after 7 years of development. 7 years! A lot of games, you designed for 7 years. The only game that I know is taking longer is Half-Life 3.
Yeah.
And yeah, we'll see if that ever happens, Anyway, so the thing was, a long time ago, I believe it was back in 2010, that it was leaked about this idea that Blizzard was gearing up to do some major hiring for the next generation MMO that was supposed to succeed World of Warcraft. It wasn't until about 2012, or actually 2011, that we knew it was called Project Titan. Other than that, details have been incredibly scarce. We've known very little about what it was supposed to do, all these things. But now that it's dead, does it really matter? Should we know about it? Well, of course we should know about it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I've been hearing this. I've been hearing this phrase and with Blizzard for 6 years now, and the fact that I know nothing about it is props to Blizzard for being able to keep it on the DL for so long. That's really impressive. And two, now that it's gone, I want to know more than ever. What was this ill-fated project? Well, we have details. This coming from multiple sources through Kotaku. Now, I will admit, I do have to preface this. Almost all of these sources that Kotaku had to speak to were based on anonymity. Now, a lot of the times, anonymous sources can't be trusted, and you can't actually report on anonymous sources without the actual certainty that bad things would happen to these people. He can confirm that all of these people were either ex-employees of Blizzard who saw or played with Titan, or were part of beta testers who were working in-house to test out a lot of the bugs, who actually had on-hand work with them. Now, these people were all under NDA, non-disclosure agreements. So yes, if they were to be put on record as talking about it, these people would be fired and sued. So I just want to make that clear to everyone. While they are anonymous sources, it's still, I would say these are still worthy. So this information is coming from them. Now, what was Titan? That's the simplest question of all. I'm going to read a quote from this Kotaku article.
Okay.
And there's several to it, but I'm going to simply keep with this one because it's the shortest and the easiest one to go with. And at the end of it, we can detail it, we can talk about the other stuff, or we can and we can get Ben and Craig's knee-jerk reaction to it. So, what was Titan? So, quote, "It would have taken place on a near-future version of Earth in a science fiction depiction of the world where mankind had successfully fought off an alien invasion. Players would join one of 3 factions, waging a Cold War over control of the planet, and the zones planned for the game would range from the west coast of the United States to Europe, South America, and Australia. Blizzard's plan was to make the game world huge and then to keep adding areas with expansions in the years after launch. The main concept was this. You, the player, would maintain a mundane job during the day, butchering, engineering, entrepreneurship. Then at night, you would help wage the clandestine warfare against opposing factions, or between work hours if you so choose to." End quote. So, what the short takeaway from this, if you guys will go with me, is the MMO is a science fiction metaphor on you, the gamer itself. Think about this for a second. You're playing a game that during the day hours of the game, you do your regular job, whatever that is.
Mm-hmm.
Then during night, you would then go help your faction, and you would wage this sci-fi war. Think of it kind of like Call of Duty style. So, to me, that sounds like, wait a minute, I'm playing a game about how I live my life already? I mean, think about this. I go to my job during the day, and then I come home, and I play Destiny, or I play Smash Brothers, or I play Borderlands. All of these are, I'm playing a game where I'm assuming this hyperbolized version of a character so that I could shoot at aliens. I mean, does this not seem weird to you, Ben? Does this not sound like it's so meta?
I can see where they're going with it. I mean, in a game like this, you're going to need a way to finance yourself. It's not like there's going to be, yes, admittedly, there's already aliens that have been defeated, came, and there goes your sense of reality. But now you're left here on Earth with factions and, ways to, supply yourself. And let's face it, how, in the real world, how do you supply yourself? How do you get, food in your fridge, clothes on your back, and a roof over your head? You work a job. So in the game, I know it may sound mundane, but it's if they could get a nice blend of like the feel of questing in World of Warcraft or any other MMO out there. Questing is can be mundane. Admittedly, sometimes they have you go kill a creature or something like that. But if a mundane job is their version of questing, and then at night everything just turns, they flip a switch and everything just turns into the crazy, gang war, sci-fi future fighting that and come to love. There's a contrast there that might have worked. Admittedly, they actually couldn't get it to work, hence the whole flop. But I can see where they were going with it.
It makes me think of the idea. So this is what I'm thinking is during the day, your version of a quest is fill out these TPS reports before your boss yells at you. Or
yeah, I'm gonna need those TPS
reports. It'd be like, go out and get out there and slaughter that cow. You got families to feed, and you do that, and then you get like little space bucks or whatever, and then nighttime happens, and then it just turns into Call of Duty. Like it becomes a first-person shooter.
Like 5 o'clock rolls around, you go and you visit your arms dealer at the local pawn shop. You pick up all of your gear, all your grenades, all your guns, all your ammo. You join your other couple of friends. That guy's a lawyer, that guy's a vet tech, and then you go out and you fight other guys that are just from a different faction.
Mm-hmm.
So Craig's job is he has to get out the Computer America podcast before he can go help people in South Africa, right?
Pretty much. Before he can go, reclaim, Uganda, he needs to get Monday and Tuesday in the can.
That's right.
I mean, it's no, but I do understand I do understand the mentality behind it of what you're saying is yeah, it poses that more kind of the real aspect of, yeah, you have to get this stuff done before you can go out and help your faction. And they talk about the idea of you could be at work and you could get a text or some notification saying that, hey, they're taking over France, we need you right now. And you could either leave your job at that time or you just ignore it and go back to your job. Not unlike how the world works right now. So was it a good thing that this was canceled, or was it a bit? Well, first off, why was it canceled? And as I talked about, when the sources he talked about say, quote, we didn't find the fun, we didn't find the passion. We talked about how we put it through a reevaluation period, and actually what we reevaluated is whether that's the game we really wanted to be making, and we found the answer to be no.
But you have to go through the whole thing to get the answer. Isn't there any way to kind of foretell this before you put all the effort?
Before you put 7 years and hundreds of people at work?
Yeah.
Well, see, that part they at least they haven't brought out, or they maybe just don't want to say, because I know Blizzard's been notorious about they will take as much time as they want to get something done, and maybe to them they thought it would take 7 years to get this done, but as you guys said, I personally would think the answer to that question, shouldn't you have gotten that around year 3, year 4? Even that by then it seems a little late, So how maybe they thought, well, wait a minute, let's get this world running first. Let's build it to the alpha level and see if it works from there. And maybe that's what they wanted to do, was they got it all the way to that point, and all of their testing was coming back negative, saying, you know what, we went the wrong way with this.
This reminds me of Douglas Adams in The Hitchhiker. I mean, they take out, how many they build the computer to get the answer, the secret, and then they tell us, okay, I don't have the answer. Come back in 100 million years. And they come back. Yeah.
And then they don't know the right question. It's
just like
yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. I mean, 7 years. I mean, that's.
But again, if any company could have done that, I can't help but think that if this was developed by EA, they probably would have gotten it and said, you know what, we've wasted too much money on this. We got to try to recoup as much as we can. Put it out. We'll do some crazy advertising. We'll make some highlight reels that aren't even part of the game, and we'll do some viral marketing, and we'll shove it out to the public, and we'll try to make back at least 2/3 of our money that we put into this.
Yeah, that can really damage a company. That could really damage a company if you do that.
EA doesn't care. But if it was any other company than Blizzard, who not only has the pockets to do this, but has the integrity to say, you know what, this isn't a good game. We're not going to put this one out. If it was any other company, they would have put it out.
Yeah, I mean, it's good that they're smart enough to see that, look, the resources, the time, the money, it's just not coming back. We can't do this. So they put it to bed. Good idea. It's a shame, and I feel for the guys who've been working on this for so long. That's gotta be that's such a huge downer for them to put all this effort and then see that it doesn't end up happening. Having said that, that does happen very frequently in the video game world.
Well, you hear this happening more like in the movie world. They'll have projects and they'll put it and they'll do it and then it never makes it to the movie theater, never sees the light of day. They can't the production. But you're saying this happens even more frequently in the video game world, really?
Absolutely. I mean, there are projects that are canceled all the time. There are ones that are announced. A vast majority are never announced, and they never make it to the light of day just because people are too reticent to say anything until they actually know it's a real thing. But also, I mean, a lot of assets that people work on during the production, an astronomical of work goes into a lot of things that inevitably don't make it because they just got to get cut. Much like a movie, you have to trim off a lot. You have to trim off the fat. Is sometimes you have to take a hard look at it and say, you know what, this mission's not working. We got to get rid of this. Or, you know what, this gun is way too overpowered, or it's not working. This character, we need to change we got to edit out a lot of his dialogue. there's tons more decisions that go into a video game than a movie does. That's why I think, and I've heard from a lot of people, is a lot of assets can get all the way to fully playable actual components of the game that end up getting cut because they just can't support them, or it doesn't mesh well with the game, and that's not their fault. That doesn't reflect badly on the developer. It just reflects on the game itself, and it's very disappointing for the developers, especially when you take that amount of time. I mean, for these guys, hell, 7 years. I mean, good Lord, that's a lot of time. That's a lot of stuff they put in. So I hope at least in some way they get some kind of recognition, or they get to at least do something with those projects or those assets that they created, and they can use them somewhere else. Or
can't they just get the recognition, as Ben was saying, that they're a company that has high standards, and this is an example of those high standards?
I would definitely agree. So yeah, I mean, if
anything, it just reinforces Blizzard's already stringent reputation.
Yeah, we believe in our product so much that they'll spend this amount of time and they will still go, you know what? No, we can't put our name on this. We're gonna walk away from it, and that's a very hard decision. So it's respect to them, and I know, of course, when I think about it, it's like, man, if Gabe Newell walked away from Half-Life, for example, if he came out and say Half-Life 3 is canceled, I would take that like I'd lose a child.
No, keep the dream alive.
I don't know how I would be despondent. I'd have to go see a counselor for a while.
Yeah, that'd be rough.
And but then also at the same time, I'd be like, oh, I mean, you'd have to accept it, but then of course you're like, well, all right, Gabe, level with me. What happened? Why have you touted this in front of us since 2004? And I'm serious about this. Half-Life 2 Episode 2 came out in November 2004. As of next month, it'll be 10 years to the month that the last portion of Half-Life 2 was created. It'll be 10 years that, technically speaking, Half-Life has been in development for 10 years. And we still haven't even seen. We haven't seen a screenshot. I think the only thing they've ever released publicly and officially was one artist rendering, and it doesn't show anything at all.
Do you think it's going to be as good as you're hoping it to be?
No. You know what? Any other game, any other situation, I would say, of course not. It can't. Not after 10 years of waiting. But you know what? I can't do that to Half-Life. I love it too much. Yeah. It is my child, even if it's not my child.
What's the catchphrase going to be? It's worth the wait.
No. F3. It's about damn time.
I really, if it's anything other than Half-Life 3 confirmed, their marketing is doing it wrong.
That's true. Actually, yeah, Ben's got it. That should just be on the box. It should just be HL3, and then under it just say confirmed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because that's all you need to do. It's become such an internet meme that could only be. I've heard people say this who don't even know, who have never played Half-Life, but they know the meme. Well, I would say, yeah, use that as your marketing, definitely.
Yep. And we have like 7 more minutes left, and I've been chopping up the bit here for this. Blizzard. We just talked about Titan and how they canceled that. You may hear, an explanation coming up soon, and that would be at BlizzCon 2014. That's coming up in November, I believe.
Yeah,
or late October, early November, somewhere around there. And BlizzCon is one of the largest game conventions out there. I mean, yes, it's very Blizzard-centric, but I mean, they have some of the best, cosplay contests. They have some of the best, they have bands perform live. They live stream the whole thing on cable packages. It's, it's like a huge Super Bowl event for video games. And, that's coming out soon, so we might just hear, we might get a little bit of an explanation what happened to Titan there, but also around that time you're going to see the official release of the new expansion to the World of Warcraft, which just launched today in that a new patch came out for 6.0.2 for World of Warcraft, which pretty much gives you all of the updates, all of the new content, and it does things like they called it a stat squish or a stat crunch, where they kind of bring the numbers back in line, where you're no longer seeing like million numbers, but closer to the 10,000 numbers. And they're doing a whole bunch of these little things that they're reverting, they're refreshing, they're taking a lot out, they're putting a lot in, and they're just doing a whole lot of stuff that if you haven't played WoW in a while, some of the things that might have driven you away, it might just be the thing that you disliked and they did away with. So that also came out today. Just wanted to put that out there before the show ended.
And what's your opinion of it so far?
I mean, I was just able to get on actually during the show, and I was able to kind of poke around a bit. It's a refreshing change. Instead of seeing people with after about 8 years, after about 9 years, you were dealing with maybe 40 to 50 buttons per character. And all those had to be keybinded. That's why you had mice with 16 to 18 programmable buttons on it. That's why you had keyboards that were just getting trashed. All this kind of stuff, you can now do away with that, or at least simplify it. And the numbers come back in line, and hopefully the audience comes back. It's a bright future for WoW. They're getting back to the source material. It's getting more nitty gritty. It's no longer hey, come on, bring on your 10-year-old. He'll have fun with the pandas. It'll be adorable. They're getting back to the M for mature rating, which they were first released on, and it looks great.
They're going back to the roots, is what you're saying.
Yeah, not even their roots. They're going back and they're pulling up their roots, and they're putting down new roots, because they're going back to the source story, the one that started it all, and they're rehashing it. It's not a reimagining or anything like that. It's just an alternate timeline, and they're taking it in another direction where you get to see all of the old heroes that have since died, gone away, did this, did that, and you're getting to see everyone all over again.
But in a new light.
But in a new light, with new scenarios, new content, new world, new everything, and
Wow.
It's awesome, especially for someone like me who's been playing it for, coming up on 20 years now. It's it's great to see, just new, all of your favorite heroes, but in a new light.
Does that make you sit back and ponder for a moment when you said, oh, it's almost 20 years I've been playing this game?
I haven't been doing anything for 20 years. and it doesn't, it doesn't shock me. It makes me proud. I still enjoy it. I still get worked up over World of Warcraft. I still get worked up over StarCraft, Diablo, anything Blizzard. I love it. It's awesome.
And there's nothing wrong with that. That's a good thing. I mean, if you find something that you're really passionate about, and you're fortunate enough to find something you're passionate about like that, I mean, that's great. Nothing wrong with it. I mean, I love games, but in a different. I'm the more traditional games. I still play backgammon.
And by traditional you mean old games.
Yeah.
Solitaire, your backgammon, and don't get me wrong, chess has its place in my heart, but computer games, they're evolving. Yeah. There's only so many moves you can make in a backgammon game.
Well, that's the finesse behind the game. And by the way, I do play the computer version of backgammon.
I'm sure you do. But yes, there's finesse, there's that. But I mean, if someone came at you and said, "All right, we just reimagined backgammon. No longer are there black and white pieces. Now there's going to be little mounted troops, and there's going to be pawns, and we're going to throw in a couple of triangles in there that are going to be superpowers."
Yeah.
And this is backgammon 2.0.
2.0, exactly.
Would you go for that?
Probably not.
That is the beauty about video games. You can change it from the ground up, and it would still be engaging. It'll still be what you love.
Yeah. Wow. Well, with time, we're pretty much out of time. Gray, I know you have some other things that we have some of the monthly highlights.
We never get to everything with Grayson.
Yeah, but we have them.
There's never enough time.
Right, on our show notes page at Computer, you can read some of the stories like China lifts the ban on video game consoles after 14 years. We have a story there. Flight attendants want to reinstate the ban on video games during takeoff. an eBay listing of massive video game collection for $164,000. These stories and more are on our show notes page at computeramerica.com. Gray picked them out, and highly recommend them. It's very entertaining reading. Gray, what can I say? It's always a pleasure having you here on the show, and again, I guess we'll see you next month on Computer America in November.
Absolutely. It is always a pleasure, always fun to get you guys, Ben and Craig. So thanks for letting me be nerdy.
Yeah, and November the 11th is when you'll be back again. And, of course, you're going to be heading out to CES, so that's going to be cool, too. So, again, now stay with this to the end, Gray. We have our after show on our video stream, so we'll just stay
90 seconds.
Coming up tomorrow night, Intel is going to be here. Right, that's right. Intel is going to be here with us tomorrow night. And it's going to be a really interesting story. I understand it's going to be on Intel is doing in the smartphone arena. So that's going to be really interesting. And they're going to be on here for the first hour. And then in hour 2, we're going to have computer and technology news brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software
60 seconds.
of Computer America. Again, thanks so much, Gray, for being with us here tonight. And Ben and I will see you here tomorrow night. Again, Intel. It's our Intel Sponsor Hour. We do that every third Wednesday of the month. And again, they're going to be talking about smartphones and what Intel is doing in the smartphone industry. Don't forget, head over to computeramerica.com and enter in all of our contests. It's under the Interact menu. Just check out all of our contests, enter them. We still have some time before we finish up our Logitech contest. And don't forget to enter in our Friday end of show reminder drawing. You could be a winner too. So anyway, thanks for being here, and Ben and I will see you tomorrow night with Intel. So until tomorrow night, this is Craig Crossman hoping that your hard disk
10 seconds.
never becomes floppy. We'll see you tomorrow night.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
All right, everybody, thanks for watching us on our live Computer America video streaming page, and Ben and I will see you tomorrow. Again, thanks, Gray. It's a lot of fun, really. Some great points that you brought up on tonight's show, and again, you can see what he's doing over at the PopZara website, popzara.com, with Nathan Evans, and thanks again for being with us here, Gray.
Thanks again. I look forward to it every month. It's fantastic, and it only gets better.
Yeah, and we'll be seeing out at CES hopefully this year in January.
Yes, I'm definitely looking forward to it. We'll do our best to coordinate and make something happen.
All right, great. All right, everybody. Thanks again for watching. See you tomorrow night.